The Middle East is in the grip of an unprecedented escalation, sending shockwaves across the globe. Just days ago, Iran's intelligence minister, Esmail Khatib, was confirmed dead, a cowardly assassination, according to Iran's president. This isn't an isolated incident. It follows a series of targeted strikes against Iran's top security officials and has ignited an all-out energy war, threatening vital global supply lines and already causing oil prices to surge. The question now isn't if this conflict will escalate further, but how far, and what will be the ultimate price. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're dissecting the rapidly intensifying conflict between Israel and Iran, examining the high-stakes assassinations, the devastating energy war, and the precarious global implications that touch everyone from Tehran to Washington. Let's start with the targeted strikes that have fundamentally reshaped Iran's leadership landscape. The death of Esmail Khatib, Iran's intelligence minister, was confirmed by President Masoud Pezeshkian, who declared the nation in deep mourning. This came swiftly after Israel announced it had eliminated Khatib in an airstrike. But Khatib's death was just the latest in a chilling series of high-profile assassinations. A day prior, Israel had claimed responsibility for killing Ali Larijani, Iran's top security official, and Gholam Reza Soleimani, the head of the paramilitary Basij force. These strikes are part of a broader, concerted effort by Israel and the United States to weaken the Iranian regime's leadership, a campaign that began with the assassination of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on the first day of the war, February 28th. President Pezeshkian, while extending condolences to the Iranian people, vowed that the path of these officials would continue more steadfastly than before. From the Israeli perspective, Defense Minister Israel Katz made it clear Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and he had authorized the IDF to eliminate any senior Iranian official for whom intelligence and operational circles had closed, without the need for additional approval. The Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, justified Khatib's elimination by stating Iran's Ministry of Intelligence had been instrumental in supporting the regime's repression and terrorist activities, with Khatib playing a significant role in the arrest and killing of protesters during recent crackdowns. Khatib himself was a figure of considerable influence, appointed by the late former President Ibrahim Raisi in 2021. He had studied Islamic jurisprudence under high-ranking clerics, including Khamenei, and held various senior posts within the Intelligence Ministry and the Office of the Supreme Leader. His reach extended beyond Iran's borders, leading to his sanctioning by the U.S. Treasury in 2022 for his role in cyber-enabled activities against the United States and its allies. While the regime expressed defiance, there were glimpses of public sentiment that hinted at a different perspective. A woman from Tehran, speaking to the BBC, suggested that the killing of Khatib might help the people since he was among the leadership. She mused, "It might be that when people come out after a call to protest, the likelihood of them being killed is lower now." Though acknowledging that all officials have replacements, she stressed that these were the main figures. The human cost of this conflict is staggering. Large crowds gathered in central Tehran for the funerals of Larijani, Soleimani, and 84 sailors killed when the U.S. sank an Iranian warship earlier this month. The Iranian government reports that over 1,300 people have been killed in Israeli and U.S. strikes since the war began, including 226 women and 204 children. The U.S.-based human rights activists news agent Harana puts the death toll even higher, reporting at least 1,354 civilians and 1,138 military personnel killed, along with 620 others whose status remains unclassified. These targeted assassinations are just one brutal aspect of the conflict. The other, equally devastating front is the energy war, which has ignited across the Middle East and sent global markets into a tailspin. Iran has retaliated fiercely with strikes across the region. On Wednesday alone, 2 people were killed in a strike on Israel, and blasts and drone interceptions were reported in Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia. The reverberations have been felt worldwide, with oil prices surging and the critical Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway for 1/5 of the world's oil, effectively closed. A major flashpoint in this energy war was the Israeli strike on Iran's massive offshore South Pars natural gas field. This field is incredibly important, as some 80% of all power generated in Iran comes from natural gas, and it's also used to supply household heating and cooking. The attack on this shared field with Qatar was described by the New York-based Sofan Center as a clear expansion of the conflict, noting that liquefied natural gas production facilities are not easily repaired, especially during wartime. Such damage, they warned, would be a major blow to Iran's economy, with the effects felt most acutely by Iranian civilians. The center suggested Israel's strategy was to inflict pressure by making living conditions for civilians intolerable, aiming to shape conditions ripe for anti-regime mobilization. Following this Israeli strike, U.S. President Donald Trump pledged that Israel would make no more attacks on South Pars.
However, he issued a stark warning. If Iran attacked Qatar again, the US would retaliate and massively blow up the entirety of the field. Trump made this threat on social media, even as Iranian missiles were hitting Qatar. Interestingly, while Trump stated the US knew nothing about the Israeli attack on South Pars, a person familiar with the matter, speaking anonymously, indicated the US was informed of Israel's plans but did not take part. Trump in his post emphasized that Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved in Israel's attacks. But unfortunately, Iran did not know this, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked Qatar. He expressed reluctance to authorize such a level of violence due to long-term implications for Iran, but reiterated he would not hesitate to do so if Qatar's liquefied natural gas sites were attacked again. And indeed, Iran did attack Qatar. Authorities in Qatar confirmed a ballistic missile hit the country's key natural gas site, sparking a fire that caused extensive damage. Qatar then ordered some Iranian embassy officials out of the country. On Thursday, Qatar warned that additional Iranian missile attacks had damaged more liquefied natural gas sites, causing sizable fires and extensive further damage. Qatar Energy, the nation's state-owned oil and gas company, confirmed the damage, stating firefighters were working to halt the blazes, with no injuries reported so far. Given Qatar's role as a key source of natural gas for global energy markets, extensive damage could significantly delay its ability to supply the market even after the war ends. The immediate aftermath saw reports of live fire across the region. Mobile phone alerts sounded in Dubai, warning of Iranian missile fire. Kuwait said it shot down Iranian drones. Israel warned its public of another Iranian missile salvo, and Bahrain sounded its missile sirens over an Iranian attack. Off the coast of Qatar, a projectile hit a ship near Ras Laffan, a crucial natural gas supply point repeatedly hit by Iranian fire. The vessel's crew was safe, though it wasn't immediately clear if it was deliberately targeted or struck by debris. A ship was also set ablaze off the coast of the United Arab Emirates near the Strait of Hormuz after being hit by an unknown projectile, adding to the over 20 vessels attacked during the war, as Tehran tries to squeeze shippers. International condemnation was swift. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese condemned Iran's reckless retaliation attacks, expressing deep concern over attacks on civilian and energy infrastructure and urging de-escalation. A summit of Gulf Arab countries and others ended with a renewed, unified call for Iran to halt its attacks, denouncing these deliberate Iranian attacks using ballistic missiles and drones, which targeted residential areas and civilian infrastructure, including oil facilities, desalination plants, airports, residential buildings, and diplomatic missions. The statement emphasized that these attacks cannot be justified under any pretext or in any way. Nations represented at the summit included Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. The broader casualty figures paint a grim picture. Over 1,300 people in Iran, more than 960 in Lebanon, and 14 in Israel have been killed in the US-Israeli war with Iran. The US military reports 13 US service members killed and about 200 wounded. Beyond the immediate conflict zone, the geopolitical chessboard is in motion. In the United States, Senate Democrats forced another vote on legislation that would have halted President Donald Trump from continuing the war with Iran without congressional approval. The vote, however, fell along familiar lines, highlighting the political divisions even amidst an escalating international crisis. Democrats are threatening to force more votes unless Republicans agree to hold cabinet-level hearings on the conflict, underscoring the deep unease and lack of consensus within the U.S. government regarding the war. So, where does this leave us? We've witnessed a dramatic escalation, from the targeted assassinations of Iran's top intelligence and security officials to an all-out energy war threatening global supply lines. The stakes are incredibly high, with civilian lives lost, critical infrastructure damaged, and the very stability of the Middle East hanging in the balance. The international community watches with bated breath as the actions of a few key players threaten to spiral into an even wider, more catastrophic conflict. The situation is volatile, with each strike and counterstrike pushing the region closer to the brink. What do you think is the most immediate danger stemming from this escalation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay informed on this rapidly developing situation, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching.